Hello my friends, let's go straight to the main hotspot on the front lines, which is now Bakhmut. Russia recently took the Soledar on the north and now they're pushing directly to the Bakhmut city. So today they got some sort of the success taking this territory of the park. So it was yesterday and it is today like that. They got few hundred meters of that land, but not significant. They're still not in the residential area of the Bakhmut city. But according to the deep state map, Russians entered the residential area from this side, but then you check the tactical map, you can see that Russia penetrated the defense line over here, but they didn't take as much territory as on a deep state map resource. This is the tactical one and this is the deep state map. Here you can see they took this territory as well. And still I don't believe that Russia is able to take the city under their control. They took the Soledar, which is very small. They wanted to achieve some sort of the goals in this war to show that Wagner group is able to take something, and they were successful. But Ukrainian army actually took lots of the land before. So here, if we speak about Izum, Balaklia, Kupiansk city, they all much bigger compared to Soledar, and Russia just ran away from that part, and Ukraine fought hard for the Soledar, causing Russia severe losses, but finally we had to retreat because they had overwhelmingly large forces compared to Ukrainians. The Ukrainians sent some of the reinforcements to Soledar, but it was too late. Now our forces in that area securing the railway station on the north from Soledar, but still it is like 2 kilometers away from the residential area, yet 2.12 kilometers away from the buildings. And it's not just a railway station over there, it's the village, a small one called Sil. If you translate it into English, it means salt. And yes, officially it gives the right for Ukrainian command to say that we are fighting in Soledar because this territory belongs to the Soledar city administrative border. But the main residential area is here and it was taken by the Russian Wagner forces. And we have some sort of the threats towards the military journalists from the deputy of the defense Minister of Ukraine, Anna Malar. She said that there are lots of the misinformation. She said that journalists say about the movement of the Ukrainian forces, their locations, etc. But my friends, we got the information from the public sources that are published sometimes by official Ukrainian resources, and she still says that Ukrainian army fights for Soledar. Maybe she means that we fire our artillery towards the Russian positions there, but it's not really like that, I think, because she said that our positions were under fire in many kind of locations, including Soledar, but our forces are not in Soledar. Maybe she put Sil village together with Soledar, but actually not, because here they have the separate Sil village and separate Soledar. Here just Soledar, but there are no our positions in that city. The interesting point that she says that if journalists or bloggers, I don't know, continue to spread the information about our forces in the region, they will be prosecuted according to this article of Ukrainian law. And this happened just after one of the main military journalists published the big post about what happened in Soledar. The name of the journalist is Butusev. He is a great patriot of Ukraine, but he got the long-term conflict with the current president and some of the officials, and he published that Ukrainian army got some sort of the issues in defense of the Soledar. I also told you about it, and he said that we should admit and work on those mistakes. But what we see from the official side of Ukrainian command, that they want to say that we continue to fight for Soledar, not recognizing the mistakes, and it's not good for our army, and it plays for the enemy side in this case. So we need to find out why it happened, why Wagner group was able to take Soledar, and why reinforcements were sent so late. And if reinforcements were so late, why our guys in Soledar were abandoned there for 3 days and without the international attention to the topic? I'm almost sure that everyone would just stay calm, my friends. So we need to admit the loss, work on it, and do the proper homework to avoid this in the future. Maybe our military command already does it, but this work is hidden from the public opinion and they want to feed us that we are still fighting for the Soledar. Yes, with artillery. Yeah, maybe I just speak too much. I'm just crazy guy with a map on the desk. So here Russia also has the advancement near to Klishivka. We can go to the timeline. So it was 2 days ago, and today they advanced here, and before 1 week they start their offensive on this side. Here they're like jammed between the natural obstacle, the river on the left, and Klishivka village, which is still under control by Ukrainian forces. Also there are some natural obstacles. So it's a good place actually for the counterattack, not good from the terrain perspective because those are just fields, but still there are some woods in this area, which is quite rare for the eastern side of Ukraine. What I see, my friends, here in this region, that Russia wants to encircle Bakhmut from two directions. One from Soledar, they are moving towards the Krasnoy Hora, and they want to take this road under their control, and also they are moving from the south over here to Ivanovsk, and they want to take this road under control as well. By doing so, they will basically cut the supplies for the Bakhmut city, which is not good, especially for the springtime. Then the soil is very soft, and the only means that you can supply your goods to the forces is through their roads. And they continue to push from the eastern side to Bakhmut. But the problem for Russia is that they don't have enough forces to encircle the Bakhmut like that, to cut supplies. I don't see it in a nearby future, but if they would announce the mobilization for their army, if they mobilize their economy, producing more artillery shells, they may cut those supplies and take Bakhmut under their control. But for the current state, I don't see that perspective for them. And one of the Ukrainian soldiers, nicknamed Madar, he said that Russia took the mine number 7, and now the fighting is ongoing on the administrative border of the Soledar city, and the front line now is behind the Soledar. The good news from the United Kingdom: they will give us Challenger 2 tanks together with those self-propelled artillery systems. Those are AS-90. And we'll have around 30 units of those. As for the Challenger tanks, 14 units, which is good for the start. You see, we need to handle the infrastructure for Challenger and Leopards. Without the aviation connection, it will be very hard for us, but still it's manageable, and it takes time. That is why initially we'll have around 14, 12 tanks, but it's okay. We'll have many more in a nearby future. And my friends, I'm getting ready to film the video about the Challenger 2, Leopard 2, and compare them with the Soviet tanks or Russian tanks ST-90. And yes, sometimes I tell you about the corruption in Ukraine, but it doesn't touch the military supplies for the Ukrainian army. It's completely separate. Corruption touches the spheres of the influence of the oligarchs and just normal people. Army is different, and all of the sides now in Ukraine are interested into winning this war. So that is why all of the oligarchs, they spend their own money to supply Ukrainian army nowadays. There were also some of the reports that United Kingdom will supply Apache helicopters to Ukraine. But no, it's fake. The information came from Mirror and other yellow press. So officially today, the United Kingdom Ministry of Defense say that they will not supply helicopters to Ukrainian army. Who's this pilot? So yeah, Daily Star and Mirror, but some of the Ukrainian media just spread this misinformation. Oh, it was kind of cringy. Maybe in the future we'll get those helicopters, but not in nearby future. And speaking about the logistics and training, it is much harder compared to tanks. But after all, I think we need F-16s or F-18s more compared to the helicopters. About the Russian attack on the residential building in Dnipro city, we know about, for this hour, about 25 casualties and many more missing. More than 100 people got wounded. And what does Russian media say about that tragedy? Well, here you can see the Russian propaganda. The guy in the studio, his name is Mardan, and he claims to be the Russian journalist, but he is really a Nazi, because what he's saying is total madness. So here we have the subtitles you may see.
Отметили прекрасным фейерверком, таким вот, как положено. Приятно, не буду скрывать, приятно, но гораздо приятнее было бы увидеть разнесенный в хлам какой-нибудь Днепровский мост. Даже если в этот дом попала наша ракета, вот лично для меня это не меняет вообще ничего. Но посмотрите на фотографии Мариуполя. Вот что будет с Харьковом. Да, будет. И с Днепропетровском это будет. И с Киевом это будет.
So what they saying is they want to destroy Ukraine openly. And I believe that is what in the heads of the Russian management, Putin and his circle and their military. That is why we hate them. Their attitude is the same as from the Nazi Germany to Jews or any kind of other nationalities. And here you see why our society is so united against the Russian aggression. I know this guy, his name is Andriy, and it's nice to see him on a training, and they train now somewhere, probably abroad, to use the Bradleys. So here is the training ongoing for the Bradleys. Here's the big door, and from what I can see, it's got painted to the green color, but some parts show that it was the yellow one before and it was painted for Ukraine. I consider it's the best infantry vehicle out there, and probably I'm gonna film the video about it. About Andriy, he's a great guy, patriot, and he has the most popular motorcycle YouTube channel in Ukraine, and not only, also many Russians used to subscribe for him, but now many unsubscribe because he abandoned everything, his YouTube channel, and he went to fight for Ukrainian army. So he has the son, he has the wife, but now he fights for Ukrainian army. Well, we haven't met, but we got some of the conversation on Instagram, and he's a nice guy. He does a great job securing our country, and actually he hadn't had any kind of the military experience before, so it was his choice to fight. And honestly, my friends, I am not that brave to leave my family and fight for my country. Still, family means more for me personally. So yeah, it's hard decision. I also thought about it to join the Ukrainian army at the very beginning, but now, no. I dedicate everything to my family, but I have my own risks. I'm a public person, you know, and I also say the interesting stuff about the Russian Federation. And now some of the public saying that there is the big explosion spotted in Sevastopol just right now while I'm recording this video. And actually it happened here in Severnaya. Severnaya, it's the north part of the Sevastopol. So here's the main residential area, I would say the city center, etc. This is the also residential area, but not that populated. And actually I was born some here in a hospital a long time ago in 1987. And explosion happened somewhere over Severnaya. Okay, one more report that one more explosion happened over the city center over here. So I wonder what is that? Maybe Russian air defense working, or maybe some sort of the drones. Out of clue, we're gonna see, and I'm gonna update you about it. The local Telegram groups just say about the fact of the explosions. Before I showed you the picture of the kitchen, the part of the flat that was destroyed in Dnipro city, so we got the video of the family. So what was happening there before the attack? So it was the family, there are some of the kids celebrating the birthday, and now Russian peace just destroyed everything. Right, the picture comes from the Sevastopol, showing that Russia used at least one of the air defense rockets, and something is there in the skies. So those could be drones or something, but nevertheless, no ground explosions reported. There was the crash of the Yeti Airlines ATR-72 in Nepal, and the airplane just stalled on one of the wings. And I'm gonna film the video about it because I used to fly that airplane before for 7 years. I used to fly the ATRs, then I changed for the Boeing 737. And I think that I have what to say about that aviation accident. My own opinion based on facts. There will be no any kind of speculation, and I'll publish the video not on this channel but on my aviation channel, and later on I'll share the link with you. From the initial information, all of the people lost their lives there, but the search and rescue operation still continues, and we're gonna see more details in the future. Obviously, my friends, now just press the like to this video, and also if you want to support this channel, there are some links in the video description below. You may support me on Patreon, PayPal, or Donatella. Thank you so much for your help, and I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.